Okay, we had the Parashat Zachor coming up. We wanted to give a few a quick review of some of the halachot that are relevant. It's always inspiring to me. We have a mitzvah, which we're about to describe, which pretty much we fulfill this one time a year. And how the Klal Yisrael, we come out in full force, whether it's going to be snow or inclement conditions, people come and make it their business to come and fulfill this mitzvah in the most appropriate, muhuderet, and beautiful way. So, tizkun mitzvot even from the beginning. Basically, we have 4 parashiot during the month of Adar, usually, it falls out that way. And these parashiot were instituted by the Chachamim in order to remind us of certain very important things that Chazal wanted us to think of and consider at least once during the year. One of them is Parashat Zachor. Really, the parasha of when Amalek came and battled us, and how we have the obligation to wipe out their name. According to Maran in Siman Kuf Mem Vav, and again in Tav Resh Peheh, the mitzvah of reading and remembering about Amalek is midoraita. Maran holds the same thing about Parashat Parah coming up the week afterwards. So these 2 parashiot are midoraita, and because of that, we treat this reading with certain extra stringencies. It has to be read from a Sefer Torah, of course, which is kasher. All the poskim, Chamobadia and others on the Ashkenazi side as well, make it clear that a person should try to hear the Kriyat Torah in the pronunciation which is familiar to his community. Whether a person is not able to do that, then he's yotzei b'di'avad, but he should try to hear it in the pronunciation of his community. If he's a Sfaradi, he should try to hear it pronounced in the pronunciation of the Sfaradim, and vice versa as well. What about women? We just established, according to Maran, it's the mitzvah that say doraita. However, there is a dispute whether or not women are obligated, because it might be considered an exception to the usual rule, where women are obligated in mitzvah that say she'en hazman girama, a mitzvah that say which is not time bound. Technically speaking, this mitzvah is not time bound because we can read Parashat Zachor at any point. Happens to be Chachamim situated it right in advance of Purim because it fits very nicely. We talk about Maaseh Amalek and then we read about how they're going to be destroyed in the Megillah, Haman, who is Mizera Amalek. But technically speaking, it can be done at any point. So really, women should be obligated. However, some poskim say that the whole mitzvah of Amalek is to motivate us to eventually be able to wipe them out. Since women do not participate in warfare, they're not included in the whole idea of the mitzvah. Therefore, since it's a machloket, technically speaking, if a woman cannot make it to the shul to hear the Kriyat Torah, she has upon whom to rely. Nonetheless, the poskim write that the minhag has become for a woman to try and make the effort, if at all possible, again, assuming that it's safe, and weather, and children, and babies, and strollers, all these things, if it's possible for her to make it to the Beit Knesset and hear the Kriyat Torah for Parashat Zachor, tavo alehen beracha. B'ezrat Hashem, we should come and see the ultimate geula, with Amalek's name being destroyed with the coming of Mashiach. Amen.